Krishna marries 5 queens.
Sure.
And I'll share the Krishna book song. This is a melody that I learned many years ago. Came from Mayapur. And Krishna marries 5 queens. Whoops.
Sure.
I have to cut that off. It's playing back.
I'll share the Krishna book song. This is a melody that I learned many years ago. Came from Mayapur.
Oh no. Where is that coming from? I have to shut that off. Okay, good. That's off. And I also, so since it's Krishna book, maybe I need to change my background since it's Lord Shiva there drinking the ocean of poison in the background. Preferences. It's Krishna marrying 5 queens. I'll look for something middle of the road here. Background and filters. Let's see. How about that one?
Good.
In my Bhajan Kutir by the bank of the Jamuna. I wish. Could I even do it? That's the real question. Am I even fit to sit by the bank of the Jamuna and chanting Hare Krishna? All right. Share screen. So I'll just begin with Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hey 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 Krishna 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 Rakshamam Krishna 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 Rakshamam Krishna 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 Pahimam Krishna 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 Pahimam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahimam Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahimam Mam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I never sang the Krishna book song in that melody before, but it works.
Oh yeah, absolutely does.
It's a Mayapur melody that I remember my godbrother Uttama Shloka Prabhu recorded in Mayapur.
Mm.
Maybe it was Gopati Prabhu, the amazing cook that learned from Anand Das, or Anand Maharaj as they called him. He was Bhaktisiddhanta's personal cook.
Wow.
Yeah, and Gopati learned from him personally. And
That's
yeah.
that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, you get it right away. I can tell you started to salivate already. Bottom was so good, you can't imagine. Wow. Yeah, Gopati is one of the best cooks in and he learned from Yamuna Devi too. And he was our cook in Chicago when I was Bhakta Glen in Chicago in 1975. And man, oh man, after a full day, 8 hours of book distribution. I mean, weekly prasadam was great, but Sunday feast, I remember he'd do like stuffed peppers stuffed with rice, and he had a special pakora batter with kalanji seeds in it and molasses, and he'd do like a half a dozen different types of pakoras, paneer pakoras, and zucchini, of course, cauliflower pakoras melt in your mouth. I just finished dinner, so I don't know why I'm talking about prasadam so much. I'm just gonna unplug my guitar, otherwise it uses up the battery. Okay. So it looks like it's me and you tonight. You never know who's gonna show up.
I hope more people show up eventually. Of course, I'm happy in any case, but
yeah. Okay, let's see now. Where did I put that Krishna book? Excuse me. All right.
Is there some major festival going on today? I should really check my calendar.
Shivratri yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That was, I mean, for a lot of Indians, that's major.
Right.
Oh, tomorrow is Jagannath Das Babaji's, I think, either appearance or disappearance day.
Mm.
You know?
I'm not sure. I was just going to look it over.
Can you just look up um, if it's disappearance or appearance?
Yeah, I'm just getting to that. Um, it's actually disappearance tomorrow.
Okay,
And also Sri Rasikananda disappearance day.
I see, I see. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I've got some nectar on Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj.
Jai.
Uh, but let's if there's time, if there's time permitting.
Sure.
Okay, so let's get into it. Um,
Right.
I gotta find the link. Okay, where did it go? Prabhupada. The five queens married by Krishna. Okay, so this is chapter 3 in part 2 of the Krishna book.
Hmm.
Okay. Can you see that?
I can now, yes.
Would you like to read the first two paragraphs?
Absolutely. Um, the five queens married by Krishna. There was a great rumor that the five Pandava brothers, along with their mother Kunti, had, under the plan of Dhritarashtra, died in a fire accident in the house of Shalak, which they were living. But then the five brothers were detected at the marriage ceremony of Draupadi. So again, another rumor spread that the Pandavas and their mother were not dead. It was a rumor, but actually it was so. They returned to their capital city, Hastinapur, and people saw them face to face. When this news was carried to Krishna and Balaram, Krishna wanted to see them personally, and therefore Krishna decided to go to Hastinapur. This time, Krishna visited Hastinapur in state as a royal prince, accompanied by his commander-in-chief Yuyudhan and by many other soldiers. He had not actually been invited to visit the city, yet he went to see the Pandavas out of his.
Excuse me, I was trying to invite other people to come and join this. Can you just give me a quick synopsis what's going on here?
Oh, okay. Um, well, um, excuse me.
Yeah, there was the rumor that they had burned
Yeah,
up on fire.
about the Pandavas, yes, and but apparently they were not. They had not died as the rumor had gone, and Krishna wanted to see them personally.
Okay.
But he went as a royal prince. He had his full retinue with him.
So why was Krishna visiting Hastinapur? Because that's where the Pandavas and Kunti were.
Um, he wanted to see the Pandavas personally.
But so they were in Hastinapur.
Yes, that was where.
Okay, please continue.
Okay. Um, he had not actually been invited to visit the city, yet he went to see the Pandavas out of his affection for his great devotees. He visited the Pandavas without warning, and all of them got up from their respective seats as soon as they saw him. Krishna is called Mukunda because as soon as one comes in constant touch with Krishna or sees him in full Krishna consciousness, one immediately becomes free from all material anxieties. Not only that, but he immediately becomes blessed with all spiritual bliss.
On receiving Krishna, the Pandavas became very enlivened, just as if awakened from unconsciousness or from loss of life. When a man is lying unconscious, his senses and the different parts of his body are not active. But when he regains his consciousness, the senses immediately become active. Similarly, the Pandavas received Krishna as if they had just regained their consciousness, and so they became very much enlivened. Lord Krishna embraced every one of them, and by the touch of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Pandavas immediately became freed from all reactions of material contamination, and therefore they were smiling in spiritual bliss. By seeing the face of Lord Krishna, everyone was transcendently satisfied. Lord Krishna, although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was playing the part of an ordinary human being, and thus he immediately touched the feet of Yudhishthir and Bhim, because they were his two older cousins. Arjuna embraced Krishna as a friend of the same age, whereas the two younger brothers, namely Nakul and Sahadev, touched the lotus feet of Krishna to show him respect. After an exchange of greetings according to the social etiquette befitting the position of the Pandavas and Lord Krishna, Krishna was offered an exalted seat. When he was comfortably seated, the newly married Draupadi, young and very beautiful in her natural feminine gracefulness, came before Lord Krishna to present her respectful greetings. The Yadavas who accompanied Krishna to Hastinapur were also very respectfully received. Specifically, Satyaki, or Yuyudan, was also offered a nice seat. In this way, when everyone else was properly seated, the five brothers took their seats nearby Lord Krishna. Yay! Nirhari and his better half Bhavatrini have arrived. Hare
Sure.
Krishna. It's your turn to read, Prabhus. My obeisances to you both.
Our obeisances to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear us?
Yes, Krishna Chandra Prabhu and I thought we'd be the only ones reading tonight.
No, we had anyhow.
It's your
long
turn.
Story. Very busy. After meeting
with the five brothers.
Yes, I was just starting. Okay.
Excuse me. How long have you been listening? How long have you been listening? Are you filled in on what's going on?
We were having trouble. We couldn't get in the site.
Okay.
And it was like frozen, so we were here like 5-10 minutes.
Oh, because I don't know what you've heard and what you didn't hear.
We just heard about Krishna greeting the Pandavas, hugging them, and then
touching the feet of the elder.
And Bhima's feet, and then Nakula and Sahadev touching his feet, and then after everybody was seated, they sat down next to Krishna.
But Krishna has the elevated seat.
So the Pandavas were supposed to be burned up in the fire, but Krishna heard the rumor that actually they were in Hastinapur, which was their capital, right? So they went back there. I found it kind of funny that it said that Krishna wasn't invited. Like he came to Hastinapur without invitation.
Well, that and family etiquette, like Sati was saying, sometimes there's no need of getting an invitation in family.
Yeah, you can go.
You can go without being invited.
Right. Well, one would hope
that Sati said that. Sati said it. You can go without being invited, but that didn't turn out too well
for her.
That she went.
For her, no. She got fried to the max. She got fried to the max, as we used to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Burnt to a crisp, literally. Burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be really. Imagine seeing somebody start a mystic fire like that.
No.
Of course, all the. Draupadi came from the fire. All the characters or the persons in Mahabharata, they're like all extraordinary. Of course, it's Krishna, God appearing. So where are we, Prabhu? I see.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just appreciating the social etiquette that was. And I know that Abhiram Prabhu, our god brother, said one reason he didn't like going to Facebook, it was too egalitarian. And although that word is not in my vocabulary, my understanding
Egalitarian.
is egalitarian means everything's equal, everything's the same. Is that right?
I don't know.
Yes, some part of the explanation is there.
Can you look it up, please, Krishna Chandra Prabhu? Egalitarian.
Like they say that Jesus' parents were egalitarian in the sense that they treated everybody equally, and they didn't have servants like that.
But Abhiram
Mm.
Prabhu's point is that there's no sense of etiquette on Facebook, and therefore you may be an old devotee and a young devotee treats you like dirt, you know? I mean, I guess it's good for
Mm.
developing humility. Yes, go ahead, Krishna Chandra.
But it's not for the other
Okay.
side.
Egalitarian, relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
Right. So that's going on in society today. So even
That's
though
the
we're all equal, we see that there's specific protocol, right, between younger and
Mhm.
older.
Oh,
yes.
yes, in devotee society for sure.
Did you
I
want
don't
to
know if like what he meant, is or what he said is quite fitting, that egalitarian, he should refer to that, to what he feels, which is that, the bodies are not respected for seniority and like that. Anyhow, it's kind of close to it, but not totally,
Uh-huh.
more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though we understand we're all each part and parcel of Krishna, still I consider you to be like my older brother and sister, and I consider Krishna Chandra to be like my younger nephew or cousin, or like there's
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
senses of
He's our nephew.
relationships.
Your nephew too. Yeah. But like in
Yeah.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, the advancement. You remember? You probably remember the name. There's a father and son.
You only see your ear.
You can't
That's
see
okay.
us.
Yeah.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Yes, we're
You see
listening.
us now. All right.
Yeah.
No, that Lord Chaitanya said, "Who's the guru, and who's the disciple?
Who's the father? And
Who's the father?
son?
Who is the son?" And
In
so,
which pastime was that? In which pastime? What are you referring
I
to?
was just trying to. I try
We're
to
asking
remember.
you.
I was asking you.
Huh,
I
you're
had
asking
it at
me.
the tip of my tongue, and it's very famous devotees in Chaitanya Lila, and so the father said, no, he is the guru because he is the one that first followed you, and so the father is giving all respects to the son that way. And then I think Krishnadas continues explaining that in other parts in Chaitanya Charitamrita that seniority means it'll be whoever has the deepest attachment, more deepest love for Sri Krishna.
Okay.
Although then there is a social custom that should be followed, especially us who want to form a Varnashram, Daivi Varnashram again. Because in the case, like when we were in the assembly of devotees with Sri Narayan Maharaj, many times he said, you must give respect to all Prabhupada disciples, they're senior. You must do that to all the assembly of devotees. His disciples and disciples of
Okay.
other acharyas.
Do you know, were you starting this paragraph or did you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Yeah, he was. He will.
I will. After meeting with the five brothers, Lord Krishna personally went to visit Srimati Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, who was also the paternal aunt of Krishna. In offering his respects to his aunt, Krishna also touched her feet. Kunti Devi's eyes became wet, and in great love, she feelingly embraced Lord Krishna. She then inquired from him about the well-being of her paternal family members, her brother Vasudeva, his wife, and other members of the family. Similarly, Krishna also inquired from his aunts about the welfare of the Pandava families. If I could say, I found it really neat and interesting. See, I mean, talking about etiquette. In this case, female, the auntie is like a mother. She embraces Krishna. Where other ones who are wives or equal or junior in rank, even though the love was so intense, their social the social costume indicated for them to embrace him only in their hearts. Okay.
No, I thought it said that Arjuna embraced Krishna.
He's talking about.
No, let me see.
Arjuna.
He went to meet. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I got.
Arjuna embraced Krishna as a friend of the same age, whereas the two younger brothers.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about after meeting with the 5 brothers. That's what I was reading. If you scroll down, or did I start? That's where you left it. And it says, she said, her eyes, Kunti Devi's eyes became wet, and in great love, she feelingly embraced Lord Krishna.
So who didn't embrace Krishna?
Jeez, it's Kunti Devi. He goes to see
I
Kunti
know.
Devi.
Who did not? You're saying you found it interesting
No,
that she
that
embraced
she's
him.
a woman, and many times
you're
you see
talking
that
about
in scripture. Yes.
Okay, that wasn't clear.
So it's just you can see now the etiquette on the still observed. As a mother, she can embrace him and kiss him like that to their children. I mean, you see that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Malini sits Nityananda on her lap. He's a grown-up man. She then inquired from him about the well-being of her paternal family members, her brother Vasudeva, his wife, and other members of the family. Similarly, Krishna also inquired from his aunt about the welfare of the Pandava families. Although Kunti Devi was related to Krishna by family ties, she knew immediately after meeting him that he was the supreme personality of Godhead. She remembered the past calamities of her life and how, by the grace of Krishna, the Pandavas and their mother had been saved. She knew perfectly well that no one without Krishna's grace could have saved them from the fire accident designed by Dhritarashtra and his sons. In a choked-up voice, she began to narrate before Krishna the past history of their life.
Excuse me for interrupting for a second. It's interesting that it's referred to as an accident, because we know it wasn't an accident at all.
I know, that's what I laughed. It's an accident designed by Dhritarashtra.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, very polite. So it's interesting. Like my mother would send me. Spanish families are like really old world, and very much the culture was very close to like a Vedic thing, and so the teacher, it was a post like, and so she said, no matter what, you have to be respectful. Offer all respects to them. Don't answer back or be smart aleck. If it came to abuse, she would be like fire. But other than that, we had to respect authority.
And that's why you're a cultured gentleman today.
No, yeah.
And what your mother couldn't do to culture you, then Bhavatrini, she helped to smooth out the rough edges, right, Bhavatrini?
I don't know. She got me a little older then. I think Prabhupada actually, of course, I always see her as a gift of my spiritual master.
Oh, that's a wonderful way to see. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to read another paragraph?
Yes. Shall we read 2 today since we are so few?
Yeah.
Or you want Bhavatrini? Okay, we'll read 2. Srimati Kunti said, my dear Krishna, I remember the day when you sent my brother Akrura to gather information about you. This means that you always remembered us automatically. When you sent Akrura, I could understand that there was no possibility of our being put into danger. All good fortune in our life began when you sent Akrura to us. Since then, I have been convinced that we are not without protection. We may be put into various types of dangerous conditions by our family members, the Kurus, but I am confident that you remember us and that you always keep us safe and sound. Devotees who simply think of you are always immune from all kinds of material dangers. What to speak of ourselves, who are personally remembered by you. So, my dear Krishna, there is no question of bad luck. We are always in an auspicious position because of your grace. But because you have bestowed a special favor on us, people should not mistakenly think that you are partial to some and inattentive to others. You make no such distinction. No one is your favorite and no one is your enemy. He goes on. I don't know if it's my okay.
Same paragraph.
Gaura?
Yes, sir.
It's still the
Okay,
same
we're
paragraph.
I'm on the okay, thank you. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are equal to everyone, and everyone can take advantage of your special protection. The fact is that although you are equal to everyone, you are specially inclined to the devotees who always think of you. The devotees are related to you by ties of love. As such, they cannot forget you even for a moment. You are present in everyone's heart. But because the devotees always remember you, you also respond accordingly. Although the mother has affection for all the children, she takes special care of the one who is fully dependent. I know certainly, my dear Krishna, that being seated in everyone's heart, you always create auspicious situations for your unalloyed devotees.
It's Baba Trini's turn.
Okay.
Brahmananda told us one time, he said, Prabhupada had no favorites, Mihari. He said, Brahmananda Prabhu.
Meaning what?
That he was impartial to all. At the same time, you can see, I mean, those who always remember him, who are taking absolute shelter of him. And he would seem to have a special, not special favor, but he would take care of them.
As they surrender, then they get the full benefit.
Yeah.
But he wasn't partial in a mundane way. Okay. Then King Yudhisthira also praised Krishna as the Supreme Personality and universal friend of everyone. But because Krishna was taking special care of the Pandavas, King Yudhisthira said, "My dear Krishna, we do not know what sort of pious activities we have executed in our past lives that have made you so kind and graceful to us. We know very well that the great mystics who are always engaged in meditation to capture you do not find it easy to obtain such grace, nor can they draw any personal attention from you. I cannot understand why you are so kind upon us. We are not yogis, but on the contrary, we are attached to material contaminations. We're householders dealing in politics, worldly affairs. I do not know why you are so kind upon us."
I'm going to ask Krishna Chandra Prabhu a question. Krishna Chandra Prabhu, what Vaishnava quality do you think King Yudhishthir is expressing towards Krishna in this paragraph?
Oh, let's see. I mean, he's certainly very, very humble at this point. He's but a specific word, I suppose. It's hard for me to say.
What do you think, Bhavatrini?
I don't know what you're referring to. King Yudhisthira is known for his honesty, but here he's glorifying Krishna in a very beautiful way. Um,
There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just asking you
well,
what
quality. Well, like Krishna Chandra said, humility.
Mhm.
I see that he's a perfect gentleman and poetic and eloquent.
In this statement, I cannot understand why you're so kind upon us. To me, it sounds like a lot of gratitude, doesn't it?
That's right.
Oh, yes.
Gratitude. See, there was a right answer.
No, that's just my answer.
I feel so inadequate. It says devotees, like when Lord Chaitanya, when there's an opportunity there to glorify Haridas Thakur. He said he sounded like he had like 5 mouths, and that he was going on like, I mean, devotees were astounded. They were astonished at how many Lord Chaitanya was enumerating.
Glorifying Haridas?
Yes, yes. So I feel like really, wow, I'm very, very low. That's what we need to know. And other acharyas have mentioned one in particular to us, that this is our future family. This devotees who should know him better. We also worry about our DNA, or about where we come in from, our bodies come from.
Yeah, my
like
grandfather
that.
was born in Ukraine.
Yeah, or something,
Yes.
something like that. And it's not really. I mean, that is so temporary in our case. Like we're gonna have other bodies, and we just don't know. So, but this is our permanent family, especially that we should point towards the Braja inhabitants. That's our next step. That's what really, if you really want to please Krishna, we had to at one point pray to have that desire to have aspirations. The aspiration to follow in the footsteps of one of the inhabitants of Braja. Yeah.
I noticed in this paragraph 2 times Yudhishthira Maharaj says, I cannot understand why you're so kind upon us. And again, he ends the paragraph, I do not know why you are so kind upon us.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, it really stands out for me. Like, wow.
That's a devotee. He's so exalted as a devotee. He's so qualified.
Like this is the opposite of feeling entitled. Like, I can understand Krishna because we're the Pandavas and we're such great devotees. Of course, you're kind upon us.
Right. And we come from the highest dynasty, but there it is. The Lord is number one.
Our DNA is better than
So there is Lord Krishna, the origin of all, Sarva Karana Karanam. So he is very, very intelligent, very humble, a great devotee, very exalted.
Did you read 2 paragraphs, Bhavitrini, or only 1?
No, just one.
Please read the next one.
Being requested by King Yudhisthira, Krishna agreed to stay in Hastinapur for 4 months during the rainy season. It's raining here right now. The 4 months of the 4 months of the rainy season are called Chaturmash. During this period, the generally itinerant preachers and Brahmins stop at a certain place and live under rigid regulative principles. Although Lord Krishna is above all regulative principles, he agreed to stay at Hastinapur out of affection for the Pandavas. Taking this opportunity of Krishna's residence in Hastinapur, all the citizens of the town got the privilege of seeing him now and then, and thus they merged into transcendental bliss simply by seeing Lord Krishna eye to eye.
Wow, imagine that.
And so when did he associate with the Pandavas? Is he just now meeting them, or did he have some association?
Yeah,
just arrived in Hastinapur.
Did he ever meet them before?
The 5 Pandavas?
Yes.
Wow. Queen Kunti is his auntie, right?
Yeah, but
they know
but
each other
he was-
since they were little.
no, it doesn't say that they know each other since they were little.
And
I-
our,
They're cousins.
yes, but he wasn't. They didn't know they were cousins. He was supposedly well, he is, but they didn't know it was being hidden that he was the son of Vasudeva and Devaki.
But now he's already
that's a good. If Mahabudhi was here, he'd be able to answer. I'll see if I can summon him.
Come on, Mahabudhi. Or Nahush would look it up for us. Or what about
Krishna Chandra probably knows.
Which one? I just joined.
What should,
Oh,
what
no,
should I
Luke's
ask?
here. It's about time.
oh, Mahabudhi? Hey.
Mahabudhi
You're
came too.
buzzing.
No, just Nahush came. Okay, good. That's better than Nahush not coming. He's been holding out on us for a long time, Nahush. He's been ignoring us.
Oh.
I've been in the exploration phase of like who to find Guru and all, so it's a little crazy.
What offense did I make to you, Nahush, that you didn't come for a long time?
No. The offense is on me. The offense is on my side, because like I've just been like discombobulated, or that word is, and I kind of went off track on my rounds last week, so I'm back on track now. So I'm just like, I just gotta
If I summon you, maybe
keep things moving forward.
Oh, good. So
All right.
we were wondering if you know how to look up when Krishna met the Pandavas and Mother Kunti, Queen Kunti,
Oh, yes, yes.
for the first time.
First time,
Okay,
like
so let's keep reading because there's much more I
Yeah.
want to cover. Maybe this will
Okay.
be real to us. All right, so Nahush Prabhu, you haven't read it all. Are you going to read tonight, Pradyumna, or are you only going to listen? Thank you for coming, Pradyumna. Are you reading tonight or just listening?
I can read something.
Yay!
Okay, Nahush first and then Pradyumna.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I think Krishna met the Pandavas for the first time at the Svayamvar ceremony of Draupadi.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I remember in the Mahabharata. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Nahush, we're waiting for you.
Okay. Being requested by King Yudhishthira, Krishna agreed to stay in Hastinapur for 4 months during the rainy season. The 4 months of the rainy season are called Chaturmasya. During this period, the generally
Didn't we just read this?
Being requested. Yes, she read that being requested.
Okay, one day while Krishna was staying with the Pandavas.
Okay. One day while Krishna was staying with the Pandavas, he and Arjuna prepared themselves to go to the forest to hunt. Both of them sat down on the chariot, which flew a flag with the picture of Hanuman. Arjuna's special chariot is always marked with the picture of Hanuman, and therefore his name is also Kapil Dwaja.
Kapid.
Kapid Dwaja. Kapid Dwaja. Thank you. Kapi means Hanuman, and Dwaja means flag. Thus, Arjuna went to the forest with his bow and infallible arrows. He dressed himself with suitable protective garments, where he was to practice killing many enemies. He specifically entered that part of the forest where there were many tigers, deer, and various other animals. Krishna did not go with Arjuna to practice animal killing because he doesn't have to practice anything. He is self-sufficient. He accompanied Arjuna to see how he was practicing, because in the future he would have to kill many enemies. After entering the forest, Arjuna killed many tigers, boars, bison, gavayas, a kind of wild animal, rhinoceroses, deer, hares, porcupines, and similar other animals, which he pierced with his arrows. Some of the dead animals, which were fit to be offered in the sacrifices, were carried by the servants and sent to King Yudhishthira. Other ferocious animals, such as tigers and rhinoceroses, were killed only to stop disturbances in the forest. Since there are many great sages and saintly persons who are residents of the forest, it is the duty of the Kshatriya kings to keep even the forest I think you have to move up, Prabhuji.
Sorry, coming up.
In peaceful condition for living. Should I continue on, or should I stop there?
2 paragraphs each.
Okay. While Krishna and Arjuna felt tired and thirsty from hunting, and therefore he went to the bank of the Yamuna along with Krishna. When both the Krishnas, namely Krishna and Arjuna is sometimes called Krishna, as is Draupadi, reached the bank of the Yamuna, they washed their hands and feet and mouths and drank the clear water of the Yamuna. While they were resting and drinking water, they saw a beautiful girl of marriageable age walking alone on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna asked his friend Arjuna to go forward and ask the girl who she was. By the order of Krishna, Arjuna immediately approached the girl, who was very beautiful. She had on an attractive body and nice glittering teeth and smiling face. Arjuna inquired, "My dear girl, you are so beautiful with your raised breasts. May I ask you who you are? We are surprised to see you loitering here alone. What is your purpose in coming here? We can guess only that you are searching after a suitable husband. If you don't mind, you can disclose your purpose. I shall try to satisfy you."
I've got a painting of this. This is from the original Krishna book. Here's the painting. There. Is that it? Yeah. There's Krishna. And who's that there with Krishna? Is that Arjuna?
Arjuna, they're drinking water. See, there is water.
And there's the Mataji.
And then Krishna's face has turned towards this girl.
Kalindi.
Is Kalindi? I thought it was like
Wow. Baba Trini's got it down. Here is a bigger original painting.
Oh, beautiful.
Krishna.
What amazing art.
Krishna,
Yeah.
Krishna. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Krishna looks so young, so smaller compared to Arjuna, doesn't he?
Arjuna might look. Yeah.
Krishna looks like a
But
little kid.
Yeah. Art not necessarily has to be technically perfect and proportions, like the Madonna. She's a lot bigger than Jesus. Actually, when I saw it in person,
She's
but
bigger
you don't
than
notice
Jesus?
that. Yeah, she has Jesus on her lap.
Okay.
Michelangelo carved that and that piece. And if you then when I was reading the book, yes, after the crucifixion, he's he's both brought down from the cross. So she's put him on her lap. It's called the piety, or la piedad. And when you read the booklet, it says, "Oh yeah, she's a lot bigger than Jesus." And then you start looking and say, "Oh my God, it is true in proportion." But it's the impact. What you see, is because first you see her suffering and her pain. Yeah, it's not that it happens exactly in these paintings, but they have something very powerful about them, and it's that they were approved and by Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
You remember? I don't know. There's a passage. There's an interview by Siddhanta Prabhu with Rameshwar, and Rameshwar tells the story. He brought new paintings for which they consider to be technically better. Prabhu was so furious that he was screaming. Sudama came to the room and peeked, and then he just ran out of there. Both of them ran out of the room.
Wow.
I just talked to Siddhanta yesterday. This is off topic, but he joined the temple in Dallas when it was on Turtle Creek in 1971. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. And he
at first we only saw your nose.
Huh? What's on my nose?
Well, your face looks like you look like the sun. Your whole face looks completely.
Oh, I know.
Oh, the curtain needs to be closed.
Wait, there's so much light outside.
At first we only saw your nose, and now you have a normal looking face. I mean, I know you glow a lot, but You're really glowing a lot today. You must have been really
Anyway,
chanting. Really
was-
good job. Yes, go on.
So he
Turn down
took
your halo, please.
he took yes. Please remove your shining effulgence so that I can see you. Yeah, right. So anyway, he joined with his first wife, and he was a filmmaker,
Siddhanta.
Right.
Siddhanta. And so two couples got married, a double wedding, Prajapati and Sadarupa, and Kumkum and Rishabdev, the one that's passed away. And
Both
he
of
filmed,
Prajapati too.
Prajapati's passed away
And
recently.
Sarupa, I'm not sure.
Sadarupa's alive, and so is Kumkum. So anyway, he did a film of that wedding, and it's his first Krishna conscious film ever. And then they left the temple, and I don't think he came back till 73, which isn't very long, but you know. Anyway, he sent me the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, it's historical. It's amazing.
it's his own marriage?
No, the marriage of a double wedding of Sadarupa to Prajapati and Kumkum to Rishabdev. And
And then he has
it's a beautiful
Prajapati
film.
explains about chanting, and this is something Pradyumna would like to hear, because it speaks that, yeah, we might be looking at amazing Krishna's pictures, but he said when you start hearing the chanting, it becomes so ecstatic.
Anyway, it's a very wonderfully done movie. It was 16 millimeter. So I can send the link probably if anyone wants it. It's only 6 minutes long.
Okay, thank you.
That's tied to this thing.
It
Nahush,
doesn't tie to
did you
this
read your
temple.
2 paragraphs, Nahush Prabhu?
Oh, I think I finished, yes. So somebody else can.
You read 2, is that right?
Yes, I read 2, yeah.
Okay. So that it means it's Pradyumna's turn. Are you there, Pradyumna?
I have a question too. Not a question, but
Is Pradyumna there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Ask the question, Prabhu. Nirhari.
oh, well, it's what we just read, how Arjuna killed, it enumerates all the different animals. There's hares, there is also porcupines,
Porcupines, rhinoceros.
which are like little, and but then there's rhinoceros and tigers who he killed a bunch because they are so dangerous to population, people that live in villages. Actually, India, I was hearing from descriptions of Vrindavan in 500 years ago, was a jungle, very dangerous with tigers and like that. So Kshatriyas protectors would do that, But also, here it says bison
and hares.
And hares and like that, and he sends them with servants for us to offer as a sacrifice. And so many devotees will say, "Oh yeah, you see the Kshatriyas eat meat," and in other parts, if you that's why my question was, if you can remember what part, because I know Prabhupada said no, the Pandavas were
vegetarian.
Prasadarians, vegetarians,
Vegetarian.
Prasadarians, that everything they offer to Krishna, so they wouldn't offer. But then I know, many people say, no, Kshatriyas are allowed, it's that they're allowed to drink liquor.
Are you asking a question or are you making a statement?
No, I was kind of asking a question in a way. It's been by many devotees a point of
They're saying that the Pandavas
discussion. They're saying,
right?
Some say, no, the Pandavas ate meat. You see, Arjuna is hunting. Why would he send all these porcupines and different little hares and little animals to Yudhishthira? As it says here, they were for sacrifice. So
then there's no question he wasn't eating them.
Right,
sent them
but we
for
don't know in
sacrifice.
detail. So anyhow, I just said like a side note. I'm sorry.
One thought that comes to me when devotees were saying to Srila Prabhupada that didn't Jesus Christ eat meat, or at least fish? And Prabhupada's reply was, Jesus Christ was so powerful he could eat the entire universe.
Yes, I remember reading that.
But that we must follow his instructions and not try to imitate him.
Imitate.
We don't
Yeah.
imitate, like Lord Shiva, he drank a whole ocean of poison. Doesn't mean we can smoke a kilo of hash.
We certainly died.
Maybe some devotees tried to before they met Prabhupada.
Yeah. Sometimes after.
Oh no. Pradyumna Prabhu, your turn, Prabhu. Okay. There you go. The beautiful girl.
The beautiful girl was the river Jamuna personified. She replied, Sir, I am the daughter of the sun god. I am now performing penance and austerity to have Lord Vishnu as my husband. I think he is the supreme person and just suitable to become my husband. Well, she has high standards. I disclose my desire thus because you wanted to know it. The girl continued, My dear sir, I know you are the hero Arjuna, so I may further say that I'll not accept anyone as my husband besides Lord Vishnu, because he is the only protector of all living entities and the bestower of liberation for all conditioned souls. I shall be thankful unto you if you pray to Lord Vishnu to become pleased with me. The girl Jamuna knew it well that Arjuna was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and that if he would pray, Krishna would never deny his request. To approach Krishna directly may sometimes be futile, but to approach Krishna through his devotee is sure to be successful. She further told Arjuna, My name is Kalindi, and I live within the water of the Jamuna. My father was kind enough to construct a special house for me within the waters of the Jamuna, and I have vowed to remain in the waters as long as I cannot find my Lord Krishna. The message of the girl, Kalindi, was duly carried to Krishna by Arjuna, although Krishna, as the super soul of everyone's heart, knew everything. Without further discussion, Krishna immediately accepted Kalindi and asked her to sit down on her chariot. And then Gaura left his seat because so many things to do.
I'm here.
Scroll down, please.
Stay focused.
Gaura is so famous.
Then all of them approached King Yudhishthir. After this, Krishna was asked by King Yudhishthir to help in constructing a suitable house to be planned by the great architect Vishvakarma, the celestial engineer in the heavenly kingdom. Krishna immediately called for Vishvakarma, and he made him construct a wonderful city according to the desire of King Yudhishthir. When this city was constructed, Maharaj Yudhishthir requested Krishna to live with them a few days more in order to give them the pleasure of his association. Lord Krishna accepted the request of Maharaj Yudhishthir and remained there for many days more.
Jai, the Queen of Bihar is here, Shikarani Devasi. Would you like to take your turn, Shikarani?
Dandavats.
Maharani Shikarani.
Jai.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gaura.
Shikarani.
There's just 5 of us in the call.
Oh, she was here a minute ago. Where did she go? She disappeared.
So many things to do, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, okay, back to me. In the meantime, Krishna engaged in the pastime of offering Kandava forest, which belonged to King Indra. Krishna wanted to give it to Agni, the fire god. Kandava forest contained many varieties of drugs, and Agni required to eat them for rejuvenation. Agni, however, did not touch Kandava forest directly, but requested Krishna to help him. Agni knew that Krishna was very much pleased with him because he had formerly given him the Sudarshan disc. So in order to satisfy Agni, Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna. And both went to the Kandava forest. After Agni had eaten up the Kandava forest, he was very much pleased. This time he offered a specific bow known as Gandiva, 4 white horses, 1 chariot, and an invincible quiver, with 2 specific arrows considered to be talismans, which had so much power that no warrior could counteract them. Sounds like Agni was getting Arjuna ready for the battle of Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
Yes. And this hunting too, I think Prabhupada in another part explains how Krishna was getting Arjuna ready for that. He said actually the Kshatriya needs to be a little tough in a way. I mean, it's not easy to kill, and
Right.
so it started him with animals, and they'll be able to then imagine come all the way to kill your family members. Not a joke.
Yeah. Krishna Chandra, could you please look up the word talisman, please? Talisman.
Sure.
Talisman.
Hmm.
When the Kandava forest was being devoured by the fire god Agni, there was a demon of the name Maya who was saved by Arjuna from the devastating fire. The demon, okay. For this reason, that former demon became a great friend of Arjuna. And in order to please Arjuna, he constructed a nice assembly house within the city constructed by Vishvakarma. This assembly house, excuse me? This assembly house had some corners so puzzling that when Duryodhan came to visit this house, he was misdirected, accepting water as land and land as water. Duryodhan thus became insulted by the opulence of the Pandavas, and he became their determined enemy. Sounds like he was jealous.
What happened? Draupadi, from a balcony, she laughs and said, he's as blind as the father.
Oh no! Wow,
He
said that.
He got so furious.
I didn't know that. I forgot that Draupadi could have such a tongue.
Well, sometimes they say that the whole war of Kurukshetra was started by Draupadi laughing at Duryodhana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After a few days... Sorry. Did you want to finish, Bhavatrini?
No, that's what I finished. Yeah. That's what it said. That the war was actually started by a woman.
Right. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time, right?
Right.
Helen of Troy. I wanted to add to that it wasn't Draupadi's appearance in this world specifically to destroy the Kshatriyas in this world. Like, I've heard that before. I don't know if that's true.
Well, she was born of fire, so was her brother, and it was not just to destroy Kshatriyas, it was specifically to get rid of the bad elements, Kshatriyas. So,
okay, got you.
I don't remember the details, but you're correct. I just don't remember the details of it.
Otherwise, she would have been a curse to the brothers from all the husbands that she had. 5 of them, they were all Kshatriyas. True.
After a few days, Krishna took permission from King Yudhishthir to return to Dwarka. Isn't that interesting? Krishna takes permission from King Yudhishthir to go back to
because it's his older cousin.
Yeah.
See the etiquette again, how the Lord is so, like Lord Chaitanya, very strict about etiquette. Very strict.
It says in English in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that Vaishnava etiquette is the crown jewel of the devotees. I don't know what it says in Bengali because that's redundant, because Vaishnava and devotees can mean the same thing. But yeah.
Krishna's a perfect gentleman. So polite. When he got permission, he went to his country accompanied by Satyaki, the leader of the Yadus who were living in Hastinapur with him. Kalindi also returned with Krishna to Dwarka. After returning, Krishna consulted many learned astrologers to find a suitable moment at which to marry Kalindi. As if Krishna needs to have a suitable moment to marry anybody.
Yeah, I wondered what happened. He sat her down on the chariot and then burnt and had Agni eat the Kandava forest. So I was going, what happened to Kalindi? Did he leave her?
No, she was in the chariot. She was she was waiting there with him.
So she got to go with him.
But that's the nature of Naralila, the nature of how he plays human-like, and then he's God at the same time.
Krishna consulted many learned astrologers to find the suitable moment at which to marry Kalindi, and then he married her with great pomp. This marriage ceremony gave much pleasure to the relatives of both parties, and all of them enjoyed the great occasion. Your turn, Krishna Chandra. I was supposed to go to Avantipur, Ujjain, 3 years ago, but I was sick, so I went to an Ayurvedic hospital in Badi near Chandigarh instead. But I was on my way to Ujjain. Go ahead.
Oh, before I go on, did you still want the definition
Yeah,
for talisman?
yeah.
Okay. According to Wikipedia, a talisman is any object described with religious or magical powers intended to protect, heal, or harm individuals for whom they are made.
Wow.
Okay. So those arrows were invested with mystic power.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I see, I read Mahabharata almost 20 years ago, and I vaguely remember like when they used them on, special personalities on the battlefield, but I don't remember who they used those two on exactly, though, unfortunately.
Your turn to read, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. The kings of Avantipur, now known as Ujjain, were named Vinda and Anuvinda. Both kings were under the control of Duryodhana. They had one sister named Mitravinda, who was a very qualified, learned, and elegant girl. She was the daughter of one of Krishna's aunts. She was to select her husband in the assembly of princes, but she strongly desired to have Krishna as her husband. During the assembly for selecting her husband, however, Krishna was present, and he forcibly carried away Mitravinda in the presence of all other royal princes. Being unable to resist Krishna, the princes were left simply looking at each other. After this incident, Krishna married the daughter of the king of Kosala. The king of Kosala province was called Nagnajit. He was very pious and was a follower of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. His most beautiful daughter was named Satya. Sometimes Satya was called Nagnajiti, for she was the daughter of King Nagnajit. King Nagnajit wanted to give the hand of his daughter to any prince who could defeat 7 very strong, stalwart bulls maintained by him. No one in the princely order could defeat the 7 bulls, and therefore no one could claim the hand of Satya. The 7 bulls were very strong, and they could hardly bear even the smell of any prince. Many princes approached this kingdom and tried to subdue these bulls, but instead of controlling them, they themselves were defeated. This news was spread all over the country, and when Krishna heard that the girl Satya could be achieved only by defeating the 7 bulls, he prepared himself to go to the kingdom of Kosala. With many soldiers, he approached that part of the country known as Ayodhya, making a regular state visit. I think I did 2 paragraphs.
Okay, so it's probably
Me or
Bhavitrini, your turn.
okay. When it was known to the king of Kosala that Krishna had come to ask the hand of his daughter, he became very pleased. With great respect and pomp, he welcomed Krishna to the kingdom. When Krishna approached him, he offered him a suitable sitting place and articles for reception. Everything appeared to be very elegant. Krishna also offered him respectful obeisances, thinking him to be his future father-in-law. When Satya, the daughter of King Nagnajit, understood that Krishna himself had come to marry her, she was very much pleased that the husband of the goddess of fortune had so kindly come there to accept her. She had cherished the idea of marrying Krishna for a long time and was following the principles of austerity in order to obtain her desired husband. She then began to think, if I have performed any pious activities for the best of my capacity, to the best of my capacity, and if I have sincerely thought all alone, when you move, all alone to have Krishna as my husband, then Krishna may be pleased to fulfill my long cherished desire. She began to offer prayers to Krishna mentally, thinking, I do not know how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be pleased upon me. He is the master and lord of everyone. Even the goddess of fortune, whose place is next to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, many other demigods of different planets, always offer their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. The Lord also sometimes descends on this earth in different incarnations. Gauraji. I moved the. I just moved us out of the. No, cancel. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just jumped out of here. Okay, there we go. Many pious activities, to the best of my capacity, I have sincerely thought all along to have Krishna myself. Okay. The Lord also sometimes descends on this earth in different incarnations in order to fulfill the desire of his devotees. He is so exalted and great that I do not know how to satisfy him. She thought that the Supreme Personality of Godhead could be pleased only out of his own causeless mercy upon the devotee. Otherwise, there was no other means to please him. Lord Chaitanya, in the same way, prayed in his Shikshastaka verses, My Lord, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other, I have fallen into this material existence. If you kindly pick me up and fix me as an atom of dust at your lotus feet, it will be a great favor to your eternal servant. Unquote. The Lord can be pleased only by a humble attitude in the service spirit. The more we render service unto the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master, the more we make advancement on the path of approaching the Lord. We cannot demand any grace or mercy from the Lord because of our service rendered to him. He may accept or not accept our service, but the only means to satisfy the Lord is through the service attitude and nothing else.
Is that true?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You continue, Bhavatri.
King Nagnajit was already a pious king, and having Krishna in his palace, he began to worship him to the best of his knowledge and capacity. He presented himself before the Lord thus, My dear Lord, you are the proprietor of the whole cosmic manifestation, and you are Narayan, the rest of all living creatures. You are the self-sufficient and pleased with your personal opulences. So how can I offer you anything? And how could I please you by such offering? It is not possible because I am an insignificant living being. Actually, I have no capacity to render any service unto you. Krishna is the super soul of all living creatures, so he could understand the mind of Satya, the daughter of King Nagnajit. He was also very much pleased with the respectful worship of the king and offering him a sitting place, eatables, residence, etc. He was appreciative, therefore, that both the girl and the father of the girl were anxious to have him as their intimate relative. He began to smile and in a great voice said, My dear King Nagnajit, you know very well that anyone in the princely order who is regular in his position will never ask anything from anyone, however exalted he may be. Such requests by a Kshatriya king from another person have been deliberately forbidden by the learned Vedic followers. If a Kshatriya breaks this regulation, his action is condemned by learned scholars. But in spite of this rigid regulative principle, I am asking you for the hand of your beautiful daughter just to establish our relationship in return for your great reception of me. You may also be pleased to be informed that in our family tradition, there is no scope for our offering anything in exchange for accepting your daughter. We cannot pay any price which you may impose for delivering her. In other words, Krishna wanted the hand of Satya from the king without fulfilling the condition of defeating the 7 bulls. That's 2.
That's 2.
Mhm.
Is it it's Pradyumna next and then Nahush?
That was the opposite.
Oh, but Shikarani finally came anyway. She'll have to wait because she left, came and left. Okay, it's Pradyumna Prabhu.
Yeah, my phone had got switched off in between for like 5 minutes, I guess, but then I charged it.
Oh, good.
After hearing the statement,
Just one paragraph each because we're almost at the end.
when Krishna, after hearing the statement of Lord Krishna, King Nagnajit said, "My dear Lord, you are the reservoir of all pleasure, all opulence, and all qualities. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, always lives on your chest. Under these circumstances, who can be a better husband for my daughter? Both myself and my daughter have always prayed for this opportunity." Oh, I gotta go.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
You
sorry.
are-
I just parked at my house, so I gotta get inside. So I'll pass maybe next turn around.
Shikarani.
Okay, sure. Both myself and my daughter have always prayed for this opportunity. You are the chief of the Yadu dynasty. You may kindly know that from the very beginning, I have made a vow to marry my daughter to a suitable candidate, one who can come out victorious in the test I have devised. I have imposed this test just to understand the prowess, and position of my intended son-in-law. You are Lord Krishna and you are the chief of all heroes. I'm sure you shall be able to bring these 7 bulls under control without any difficulty. Until now, they have never been subdued by any prince. Anyone who has attempted to bring them under control has simply had his limbs broken. King Nagnajit continued his request. Krishna, if you will kindly bridle the 7 bulls and bring them under control, then undoubtedly you will be selected as the desired husband of my daughter Shatya. After hearing this statement, Krishna could understand that the king did not want to break his vow. Thus, in order to fulfill his desire, he tightened his belt and prepared to fight with the bulls. He immediately divided himself into 7 Krishnas, and each one of them immediately caught hold of a bull and bridled its nose, thus bringing it under control as if it were a plaything.
Krishna Chandra.
Krishna's dividing himself into 7 is very significant. It was known to Satya, the daughter of King Nagnajit, that Krishna had already married many other wives, and still she was attracted to Krishna. In order to encourage her, he immediately expanded himself into 7. The purport is that Krishna is one, but he has unlimited forms of expansions. He married many hundreds of thousands of wives, but this does not mean that while he was with one wife, the others were bereft of his association. Krishna could associate with each and every wife by his expansions.
When Krishna brought the bulls under his control by bridling their noses, restraint and pride were immediately smashed. The name and fame which the bulls had attained was thus vanquished. When the bulls had been bridled by Krishna, he pulled them strongly, just as a child pulls a toy wooden bull. Upon seeing this advantage of Krishna, King Nagnajit became very much astonished and immediately, with great pleasure, brought his daughter Satya before Krishna and handed her over to him. Krishna also immediately accepted Satya as his wife. Then there was a marriage ceremony with great pomp. The queens of King Nagnajit also were very much pleased because their daughter Satya got Krishna as her husband. Since the king and queens were very pleased on this auspicious occasion, There was a celebration all over the city in honor of the marriage. Everywhere was heard the sounds of the conch shells and kettle drum and various other vibrations of music and song. The learned Brahmins began to shower their blessings upon the newly married couple. In jubilation, all the inhabitants of the city dressed themselves with colorful garments and ornaments. King Nagnajit was so pleased that he began to give a dowry to the daughter and son-in-law as follows.
Voice is
Okay, your voice stretch is funny. Sorry. First of all, he gave them 10,000 cows and 3,000 well-dressed young maid servants, ornamented up to their necks. This system of dowry is still current in India, especially for Kshatriya princes. Also, when a Kshatriya prince is married, at least a dozen maid servants of similar age are given along with the bride. After giving the cows and maid servants, the king also enriched the dowry by giving 9,000 elephants and 100 times more chariots than elephants. So 109,000. Oh my God. This means that he gave 900,000. That's right, 900,000 chariots. And he gave 100 times more horses than chariots, or 90 million horses. And 100, oh my God, we can put that in our heads. And 100 times more slaves than horses.
What? 180 million
that's
slaves.
Yes. 900, what was it? 100 times more slaves. So what would that be? 1 billion?
I'm surprised you're using the word slaves because that doesn't sound very politically correct. This sounds like
nowadays, but then
slaves were part of the Vedic culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And das and dasi means.
But this might be something that Jayad Vedaswamy would enjoy editing. Sorry for that.
Oh my God, that was terrible.
It's not incorrect. That's how it was. That culture, slaves, abusing slaves is not good. But slaves.
But how did they get the slaves?
Well, that's a good point, Bavatrini, because usually when we hear the word slaves, we assume that means someone that gets abused, but that's not so in Vedic culture.
No, and also das and dasi means slave. We're Krishna's slaves.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And Paliyadasi, we're supposed to be Paliyadasis, or not supposed to be. I mean, when we enter Braja, those who will be selected to
just get to the point, please.
Oh, okay.
You're just saying
Finish the paragraph. I'm trying to finish this.
You're trying to be politically correct.
No, I wasn't.
I'm sorry. You were saying we have to, but and then you were saying, oh, if we're supposed to be. So I'm sorry.
Never mind.
It's a good point. I'm sorry I upset you.
Please finish the paragraph because I wanted to read about Jagannath Babaji during the last 5 minutes.
Oh, I was reading. Okay. Let's see. We were such slaves and maid servants were maintained by the royal. I'm sorry?
Yes, please continue.
Okay. So 100 times more slaves than horses. Such slaves and maid servants were maintained by the royal princes with all provisions, as if they were their own children or family members. After giving this dowry as described, the king of the Kosala province bade his daughter and great son-in-law be seated on a chariot, allowed them to go to their home guarded by a division of well-equipped soldiers. When they were traveling fast to their new home, his heart became enlivened with affection for them.
Sikarani, are you able to read?
Yeah.
No, Bavatrini didn't read, did she?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Before this marriage of Satya with Krishna, there had been many competitive engagements with the bulls of King Nagnajit, and many other princes of the Yadu dynasty and of other dynasties as well had tried to win the hand of Satya. When the frustrated princes of the other dynasties heard that Krishna was successful in getting the hand of Satya by subduing the bulls, naturally they became envious. While Krishna was traveling to Dwarka, all the frustrated and defeated princes encircled him and began to shower their arrows on the bridal party. when they attacked Krishna's party and threw arrows like incessant torrents of rain, Arjuna, the best friend of Krishna, took charge of the challenge, and he alone drove them off very easily to please his great friend Krishna on the occasion of his marriage.
Arjuna ki.
He immediately took up his bow of the name Gandiva and chased away all the princes exactly as a lion drives away all other small animals simply by chasing them. Arjuna drove away all the princes without killing even one of them. After this, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, Lord Krishna, along with his newly married wife and a huge dowry, entered the city of Dwarka with great pomp. Krishna then lived there with his wife very peacefully. Krishna had another aunt, his father's sister, whose name was Shrutakirti, and who was married and lived in the Kekaya province. She had a daughter whose name was Bhadra. Bhadra also wanted to marry Krishna, and her brother handed her over to him unconditionally. Krishna also accepted her as his bona fide wife. Thereafter, Krishna married a daughter of the king of the Madras province, and her name was Lakshmana. Lakshmana had all good qualities. She was also forcibly married by Krishna, who took her in the same way that Garuda snatched the jar of nectar from the hands of the demons. Krishna kidnapped this girl in the presence of many other princes in the assembly of her Swayamvara. Swayamvara is a ceremony in which the bride can select her own husband from an assembly of many princes.
Jai. Shikarani and then Pradyumna. Finish the chapter, Shikarani.
The description of Krishna's marriage with the 5 girls mentioned in this chapter is not sufficient. He had many other thousands of wives besides them. The other thousands of wives were accepted by Krishna after killing one demon named Bhaumasura. All these thousands of girls were held captive in the place of Bhaumasura, and Krishna released them and married them. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 2nd volume, 3rd chapter of Krishna, 5 queens married by Krishna.
So here's the painting. There's Agnidev devouring the forest. Can you see that? Does it show up on your screen?
No.
No, we can't see him, Prabhu.
We're still seeing the script.
Pardon?
We're still seeing the book.
Oh, there you go.
No.
One of the plates.
No.
We were seeing it, but then you removed it.
No,
No, we were
just
seeing Arjuna and Krishna when he first saw Kadindi.
Right. Okay. I don't know where that went to. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so Pradyumna Prabhu, are you still there? Are you able to read it all?
I thought it was interesting that it was the Yadus that attacked him and his bridal party. It said, Yadu. That's the second time the Yadu, like in the story of the Shamantaka jewel, it was the Yadu princes that didn't get Satyabhama for their wife.
Mm-hmm.
Akura.
But Prabhupada said that's common for kshatriyas. It's always had to be a fight, some killing. And remember that in this film that we saw, that the devotees put in, kumkum and the heads of the wives. It was not known at that time that actually is more of a kshatriya ceremony.
Blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross, isn't it?
Yeah. And Prabhupada said in the story of Samba getting married to Duryodhana's daughter, there was a big fight and he kidnapped her. And he says, in a Kshatriya marriage, there was always bloodshed.
Right. Oh, Krishna. So tomorrow is Srila Jagannath Das Babaji's disappearance day.
Oh.
And I just pulled up a little bit here. Gauravya Bharava Bhumestavang Nirdishta Sajjana Priyaha. You probably can't see the page, so let me share the screen for you.
Your voice breaks sometimes really is funny. Okay.
I'm sorry. Gaura Virbhava Bhumestvang Nirdeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was respected by the entire Vaishnav community and who discovered the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Pradyumna Prabhu, are you able to read? Or are you busy with the family or work or whatever? Are you able to read, Pradyumna? I guess not. Okay, so who comes after Pradyumna? Nahush comes next.
Yesterday for us was Shiva Ratri.
Right.
And we kept some things, we forgot, but it was a really interesting, very important relationship between Sanatan Goswami and Lord Shiva. And Srila Maharaj explained how difficult it is to understand very complex Tattva, Shiva Tattva it is. And we have that Dvaitacharya is mentioned, he's Mahavishnu, but it's also Sarashiva.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nahush, are you there or busy?
Yeah, I'm here, but
Are you able to read or no?
I'm ordering some food, so maybe somebody else can read.
Okay, Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was born in the Mayam Singh district of West Bengal. Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan had a disciple named Uddhava Das. His disciple was Sri Madhusudan Das Babaji, who lived in Suryakund. Madhusudan Das Babaji's disciple was Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji lived in Vrindavan and performed his bhajan there for quite some time. He became famous among the devotees there as one who was perfect in Krishna Bhakti. In 1880, Srimad Bhakti Vinod Thakur went to Vrindavan and saw his lotus feet for the first time. While there, he received many divine instructions on Hari Bhakti from Jagannath Das. Sometime later, Babaji Maharaj visited the Bhardaman district during the month of Palgun. He stayed at a town called Amala Jorha. At that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur again had the good fortune to take darshan of his holy feet, Krishna Chandra Prabhu.
Seeing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's enthusiasm for preaching the holy name of Krishna, Srila Babaji Maharaj was very happy. He stayed in Amala Jorha during Ekadashi, and that night there was Kirtan and Harikatha. Later at Amala Jorha, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur established his Prapan Ashram. In 1893, Srila Babaji Maharaj went from Koladweep, the part of Navadweep where Srila Sridhar Maharaj's temple is presently located, to Surabhi Kunj in Godrumadweep. There he took his seat. His arrival in Surabhi Kunj was a wonderful event. Sri Jagannath Das Babaji revealed many lost holy places in Mayapur, including the Yoga Pit, Srivas Angan, and others. It is said that when he came upon the holy place of Mahaprabhu's birth, he danced, although he was very old and walked with difficulty. For some time, he remained in Nadia and performed his bhajan on the banks of the Ganges. His Bhajan Kutir and Samadhi Mandir are still there at present. He ordered Bhaktivinoda Thakur to build a hut so devotees could stay near his Bhajan Kutir, and Bhaktivinoda did so.
Your Hari Bavatrini?
When you moved, I think he went too far up. Okay. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was 12 years old, he was an expert in Jyoti Shastras, explaining Vedic astrology. Hearing this, Srila Babaji Maharaj one day called upon him to prepare the Vaishnava calendar in accordance with the proper Siddhanta. He did so, and Babaji Maharaj was very pleased. With this, the Navadvip Panchika, the Vaishnava calendar, recording the dates of the appearance and disappearance of important Vaishnava saints and the celebration of important festivals began. Continue or?
Yeah, a couple paragraphs.
Srila Babaji Maharaj always had great enthusiasm for Kirtan and Vaishnava Seva. Even when he was nearly 135 years old, he went on preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya throughout the world for the benefit of the fallen masses. In his old age, although he was almost paralyzed by infirmity, whenever it was time for kirtan, he would still raise his arms in ecstasy. Wow. I think you can read on it.
Okay.
Jagannath Das.
Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was the Veda or Babaji Guru of Bhagavat Das Babaji Maharaj. Bhagavat Das in turn gave the dress of Babaji Gorkishore Das Babaji. Jagannath Das Babaji's servant's name was
To Kishore Das Babaji. Stop. Jagannath Das.
Jagannath Das Babaji's servant's name was Bihari Das. Can you scroll more, please? He was extremely strong and powerful. In his old age, Babaji Maharaj could not walk. Bihari Das to carry him in a basket on his shoulders so that Babaji Maharaj could move from place to place. Scroll, please. When he got to Calcutta, Babaji Maharaj would stay in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur on Manika Tala Street. Bhaktivinoda was always very eager to invite him to his house for prasada, but Babaji Maharaj very renounced and would come only occasionally. When he was in his old age, Babaji Maharaj was nearly blind. Many people would come to see him and to offer him donations for the service of Sri Krishna. His servant Bihari Das would keep all these donations in a bag. One day, Babaji Maharaj said, "Bihari, how many rupees have I got?" Bihari Das had put some rupees aside for some service he had planned to render Babaji Maharaj. When asked by Jagannath Das Babaji about how many rupees were on hand, Bihari placed some rupees in his hand and kept 12 rupees aside. Even though his eyesight was failing, however, Babaji Maharaj detected the discrepancy. "Bihari," he said, "why have you kept 12 rupees aside? Give me all the rupees." Smiling at this fun, Bihari surrendered the remaining coins to his guru. At that time, Babaji Maharaj made his wishes known as to how the money should be spent. The total came to 200 rupees.
Ooh, that was some money.
Babaji Maharaj ordered Bihari Das to take the money at once and buy sweet balls, rasgullas, feed all the cows in Navadvip Dham.
Shikarani, are you available?
Yeah.
Oh,
Once Babaji Maharaj was on the banks of the Ganges, living under a makeshift canvas tent. Nearby that place there lived with a dog with 5 puppies. Whenever Babaji Maharaj would take prasad, the dogs would come around and lick the food from his plate. When Bihari Das caught hold of one of the dogs to drive it off, Babaji Maharaj told him, "Bihari, if you wish to drive these dogs off, you may take my place away as well. I shall not eat today." When Bihari complained, "But Guru Maharaj, these dogs are unclean," Babaji Maharaj remarked, "No, these dogs are residents of the holy dham. You may not abuse them." Many people used to come and beg alms from Jagannath Das Babaji. He did not want to give them alms, but told them to do service. One day, a man named Sri Gaura Hari Das came and asked Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj for alms, but Babaji Maharaj would give him nothing. When the man persisted for 3 days, fasting outside Babaji Maharaj's tent, Babaji Maharaj finally relented. He tore off a piece of his kaupina, his undergarment, and gave it to Bihari Das, his servant, with the instruction to present it to the beggar as alms, thereby informing the beggar that he must first learn to control his senses before taking up the profession of a saint.
I'm not sure I caught that last story, if I understood that last story. He ripped off some of his underwear.
yes. That's a sign of the coping. That's like what they wear, Babajis.
Yeah.
Something similar happened with the.
No, but I'm trying to
Kolkata
understand the
Dasoji.
lesson. I'm trying to understand the lesson here.
Yeah,
that
that's what
obviously he
she's
saw that
explaining.
this man wasn't ready, that wasn't prepared. He said, first you have to learn to control your senses
So that's
before
why.
taking up the profession, meaning begging, for
So-
alms.
So that giving him a piece of his underwear was significant in what way?
That obviously he knew that this man wasn't self-controlled, but he was acting as a saint, begging for alms.
So the underwear means
It
that he's
symbolized-
lusty, or
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yes, that the man was probably had problems with lust.
Thank you, Baba Trini. I was trying to because Shikarani read it really fast.
Told us.
What? Sorry?
I'll take the credit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But he's mad at me.
No, come on.
Was it sort of an insult to him that he was giving him his underwear? Is that it?
No,
It was an indication that he was lusty.
Huh. Okay.
Not an insult.
see, he said before. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, because Jagannath Das Babaji was self-realized and a very advanced devotee. He could see all that. He could see the character of this person, no problem. And this person was posing as a saint, came to beg for alms from
a saint.
the saint. Obviously, there were some problems with this person, and so he tells him. Therefore, inform the beggar he must first learn to control his senses before taking up the profession of saint. So he gave him the copy. Probably this man was very lusty and keeping it under wraps.
Subject to interpretation. So you two read 2 paragraphs each?
Yes, I read too. He's saying
Sikarani did
where's
finish. What about
lust?
Yeah.
Pradyumna? Are you available to read? Pradyumna, are you available?
He gave him the copy in his underwear.
Does it sound
And
okay? One day, Sri Babaji Maharaj remarked. I gotta mute you. One day, Sri Babaji Maharaj remarked about the professional readers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Quote, this kind of professional Bhagavad Kirtan is simply prostitution. Those who make their living by reading Srimad Bhagavatam are offenders to the holy name of Krishna. No one should listen to the Kirtan and Bhagavatam readings that they produce. And one who listens to such offensive readings and thus commits offenses against the holy name of Krishna certainly go to hell. Those who are involved in this professional reading should immediately give it up. Such a person should worship the residents of Vrindavan with care and attention, considering himself most fallen, and thus pray for forgiveness. Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur remarked of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj that he was the topmost general among Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Many people used to come to okay, we read this part already. It's just repeating it again. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Please accept my respectful obeisances. We'll see you on Friday for nectar of instruction, Krishna willing.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Babaji ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Oh. Okay. Thank you for all your realizations and your enlightening. Was there a question I was supposed to ask Mahabodhi that we didn't have that stumped us?
Haribol, Gaura.
It was answered.
I wanted to apologize for not coming on. We just spent 3 hours with Shama Sundar.
Oh.
So that's where Anda Patni and I were with Shama Sundar.
Well, we can't forgive you for that. I'm sorry.
It was so wonderful.
Now we're all jealous.
Hey, now
You should have come with Shama Sundar. We're jealous.
You got to bring Shama Sundar next time.
So Rasangi, you owe us now. You have to give us the highlights of that association.
I know, it was so
No, yeah.
He's almost 80 years old. He's kind of tired and a little depressed. So to be with him was kind of Kanka. He's living on Kanka's property, and she wanted us to come because it's enlivening for him to talk with devotees.
Sure.
So we went and had tea and heard a bunch of stories, and just amazing
What
personality.
what story?
That would have felt like we were with royalty. I mean, he talked about a lot of different things, touched on his relationship with George. He saw Olivia a few months ago. You know what I mean? He still has contact with a lot of these people, Olivia, George's wife, and oh my gosh, just amazing. But he's tired right now. Of course, he had COVID, although he had inoculation. He still got COVID because he went to see his daughter in January and got a mild case, and he's kind of still recovering. Anyway, I'm going to try to get him on the Nama Ross show.
Great.
Nama Ross show is good. He already was on with Raghunath, the Raghunath show. But yeah, I love being with him and hearing from him, and just touching on different parts of his life and what happened. I'll have to think about it. We'll have to ask Nanda Patni too. What does she remember?
Okay. And I'd be happy to record him sometime as well. I have 10 videos I put up online, and we'll do a talk with him, myself from Pradyumna.
And I will, when I get his email address, Kanka's going to send it to me. You can write to him.
I've got his email, actually. I have his email. Yeah.
So write to him and ask if he would mind being interviewed. All
I
right.
hope to be doing an interview with Rupanuga Prabhu on next Monday.
Wow.
He hasn't been recorded in years.
Wow.
And Lochanananda Prabhu this Friday, he's like Mr. Harinam. He started the France Yatra. He started the Israeli Yatra. He helped to start Amsterdam. He's Mr. Harinam. So this Friday with Lochanananda Prabhu.
Amazing. That's so cool.
So it'll be on this Zoom. It'll be on this Zoom call. Sorry, your voice broke up, Rasangi.
I said that you can find them on YouTube.
Yeah, put them on YouTube, but you can attend them live as well and ask a question or Bavatrini, I can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted, Bavatrini. Pardon?
When are the class? When are they again?
That's a really good question. Let's see. Yes, Lochanananda is 12 to 2, and Rupanuga is supposed to be at 11 a.m. our time. So that's, I don't know how to calculate that. I'm giving you New York.
Tomorrow? Is that tomorrow?
No, tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh, when is it?
Friday is Lochanananda, 12 to 2, New York City time.
Okay, and then after that?
Rupanuga Prabhu. Oh, I'm trying to get Bhaktadas for Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, but he said
an old friend.
He said he could be available Sunday morning. But I said your Sunday or Thailand Sunday, so I'm still waiting for that answer to come back. So so Lochanananda Friday, maybe on Sunday, and Rupanuga, which will be huge, on Monday. He was saying, are there going to be he said not too many godbrothers are going to be chiming in, right? Because he's equating having godbrothers chiming in with people who are going to give him a hard time and argue with. I'm going to give him the floor to just talk about anything and everything, you name it. He's going to say it, and I'm not going to censor him at all. I mean, I have no idea if he's going to get into the or
I know Bhaktadas is in India.
He's talking about Rupanuga.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying how easy it will be for him to connect or not.
Oh, he's not in Thailand?
No. He wants to.
Oh.
Okay, well that means like what, 10 hours a difference in time or something? 9.5
No,
hours.
that's mess. I don't know.
For me,
For
it
us, it's 15, yeah, for you, for us, it's 15 and a half. So it'll
No,
be
no,
about 10
yeah, about 10.
in
Okay.
Hawaii. The difference.
Yeah. So come and join Lochanananda. I love talking to Lochanananda. I could just talk to him for hours. He's such a pleasant devotee, godbrother to speak to. And
Yeah.
Nice.
he had some
Yeah,
really
yeah.
wonderful moments with Prabhupada. One of the things I heard in Siddhanta Prabhu's talk is just Prabhupada was just about to get into the car and drive away, and Lochananda said, Srila Prabhupada, what is the greatest enemy of a devotee? And Prabhupada stopped and looked at him and he said, himself.
Uh,
And then another time, Prabhupada said to Lochanananda, he said, he called him over, yeah, and I just thought this is so sweet. Prabhupada said to him, I'm thinking of spending like so many months. I'm not sure if he said Los Angeles or New York, and then he said so many months in England, and then so many months maybe in India. I'm not sure. And then he asked uh, Lochananda what he thought about that. Like he consulted with him. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And,
Sorry.
and Lochananda said, "Oh, Prabhupada, if you come here, I'll definitely come to visit you." And I
uh,
love hearing personal exchanges like that.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Very sweet.
So yeah, we'll definitely try to come.
Okay.
What time on Sunday? Well, that will be
Saturday.
Saturday for Lochananda.
No, Friday with Lochananda.
Friday.
Yeah.
Saturdays for Rupanuga or same
No,
Friday.
Bhaktadas Sunday.
Monday is Rupanuga.
Yeah, Monday's Rupanuga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should write it down. My brain's like a
I'll
sieve.
remember.
Oh, he'll remember. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
will it be strictly one-on-one when you speak to them, or?
Well, there's a lot of ground I'd like to cover with him because he wants to talk about the process of initiation, um, Guru Tattva. I want to talk to him about the Kirtan rules because they've created rules in ISKCON that we must follow for Kirtan. I want to get his opinion on that since he's an old-time Kirtan leader. But I want to open things up for discussion as well. I'm a little greedy because there's I love interacting with him and we go all over the place. But with the addition of you old timers who have even more history and go back further than I do, then you'll be able to enter into areas that would be less familiar to me. And Pradyumna is also eager to learn and ask questions as well. So he's going to be handling the production end of things because
Okay.
I always hand over the hosting to him because he's recording everything back at his place and then he goes into the recording afterwards and he edits and tries to make things succinct and takes out the parts where people get spaced out or it gets noisy or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they're rambling. Listen, I have with Shama Sundar, he likes to have questions up front given to him. That's
Okay.
one of the things his condition is. So
Okay.
Can he come? Can he come sometime to this class?
Or have
Yeah,
a special.
Yeah, we'd
know.
love to read with him. Please
Well,
invite.
listen, Gaura, if you talk with him, you can invite him.
Okay.
He just did a series. I don't know what that is. Is there a series or serious broadcast? I don't know who does
Curious,
that. But
that sounds like satellite radio.
yeah, he
Serious.
just did something called that. And he has been on Raghunath, that one.
Right.
But
I have Raghunath. Who's Raghunath?
oh,
Janudar's
Raghunath.
disciple. He was Ray Capo. He was in the Youth of Today straight edge band out of New York, and then he got his band members to join him. Porcel and Rajat Kishore came from When Bands Collide. I was in Gunagrai Maharaj's Krishna Fest party in Washington D.C. in 1992 when Bhakta Ray, after being preached to by Satyaraj and Damodar Swami, came and joined our party, and he started writing his straight edge rock songs about Krishna. And
Shelter. Did you say?
Shelter.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
shelter.
yeah.
Yes.
It started on our party. He just hired some session musicians and wrote a bunch of cool Krishna conscious songs. They produced the zine magazines. They were like attracting tons of young people. I hadn't seen anything like that since the Beatles. They were
I
mailing
know.
neck beads to people and Bhagavad Gitas and Hare Krishna T-shirts and
Wait, they all have tattoos of Krishna on their bodies.
right.
Like I went to a gathering in New Jersey. I just happened to hear of it, and there was about 150 to 200 people. They all had the most amazing tattoos, like body art. They have body art on their bodies, and he's a master yoga teacher. He's
Right.
not young anymore, but nobody can do yoga like him. He takes groups to Nepal and all over the planet. He takes retreats. He's got one coming up. And he has a farm. Oh, it's called Super Soul Farm
Right.
in New York State.
Upper state New York. Yeah.
So
Yep.
look him up, Baba Trini. Tune into his show. It's, they started 12-step Bhakti recovery as well.
Oh,
They have 12 steps for devotees.
oh,
Bhakti recovery. I know.
Nice.
You'll love it. He's so fiery. And maybe he'll interview you too. He'd love to interview you, I bet. Both of you. Yes.
yeah, would love to.
So
Okay,
that's great.
I'm gonna call it a night here. I got a couple rounds to finish. It's 9:30.
Okay, good night. Hare Krishna.
Good night. Hare Krishna.
No.
See you
Hare Krishna.
Nectar of Instruction, Shri Upadeshamrita on Friday. Huh?